Hey y'all, welcome to the Flip Flop Barnyard. So I recorded an entire video for you and realized that my microphone wasn't on, so I had no audio. So this is take two. I'm going to do this again. There's a bug up in my hat. Yuck. Anyway, we recorded, it started raining, and then it was kind of a nice little rainstorm, and the rain has moved on, so hopefully we don't get rained out again. But anyway, I want to show you guys these beautiful roses. They have just started blooming. There's a bunch of blooms getting ready to open up, and these two have opened, and they are just so pretty. This is a Rio Samba is what they're called, and I knew the picture looked pretty incredible, and they are just as glorious as the picture. I have these, and then back here, these ones are also blooming. They're starting to open. This one's been open. They smell so good. This is a Belinda's Dream. I have three more varieties of roses in pots up here. They're not blooming yet, but I have just been loving having these. I've been cutting some before they open all the way up and taking them down and putting them in a vase and just having them in the house, and they smell so good and they're just beautiful, so they make me really happy. That's what I have going on with these flowers here. Now, for what I'm really here to talk to you guys about. I have a confession. I have a problem. I actually don't think it's a problem, and you probably don't think it's a problem. My checking account might think it's a problem. My husband, I don't think he thinks it's a problem. But the problem that's not really a problem is I just can't stop. I can't stop buying fruiting plants. It's an obsession all of a sudden. And it all started with Stark Brothers. They sent out an email and they were having an amazing sale. One thing led to another, and I think I made like 4 orders total from them because I kept thinking, oh wait, I didn't buy this. Oh wait, I didn't buy that. So I ended up with, well, I bought things, and then also Amy that owns the farm now, I may or may not have sent her the link to the sale, and she also bought things. What did she buy? She bought asparagus and 5 fruit trees. Was that what she? Yeah, she got asparagus and 5 fruit trees. She got 2 peach trees and 3 apple trees, which we have in buckets because when she comes in town, we put them in buckets to keep the roots happy, and then when she comes in town, we're going to pick an orchard spot, which is awesome. And then I have 5 apple trees back there that I got from Stark Brothers. They look incredible. I have decided to put all of my trees and other plants that I'll show you in a minute into old protein tubs that we had from the cows. I also have a couple of pots that somebody gave us, very big pots that I've got some blueberries in, because I'm not sure long term where I'm going to want these, and because they are semi-dwarf, most of the trees are semi-dwarf trees. They can grow in large tubs indefinitely. Eventually, I would like to plant them in ground somewhere, but I'm not sure, where that's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and keep everything I'm growing in pots, but I bought 5 fruit trees and 4 seedless Concord grapes. I have them in pots as well. I've also, everything I've read says that you can keep grapes in pots, so I'm going to keep them in pots. I bought strawberries, which I will show you those in a minute. They look incredible. So I cannot say enough about Stark Brothers because everything I've ordered from them has come in very healthy and vigorous. All of the trees are budding already and everything looks so good. My strawberries took root. So if you guys want to buy some high quality plants, Stark Brothers is your go-to. I also like to support local. So our local nursery, we happened to be in there the other day, and they happen to have blueberry plants that are incredible sizes, less than $15 a piece. And everywhere I'm looking, plants that are barely started that only have first year fresh growth, like down here, like this little wispy stuff, were like $20. So I bought 2 the other day, and they're back here. Yes, those are not the 2 I bought the other day. And we put them in these big pots. They look incredible. I mulched them with pine straw because blueberries really like acidic soil, and pine straw is very acidic, so it adds acid to the soil. So they look very vigorous and happy. There's 2 different varieties there. I think they are the Darrow and Duke are those varieties. Duke is my maiden name, so I was like, this is a sign. I must buy these. And then I decided that I needed more than 2 plants, and I've been looking on how to propagate blueberries. I'm going to do that, but that takes time. So we went ahead and went by today and bought 2 more. And this is a Chandler and then Early Blue. So I'm going to up pot these into pots, and then these 2 conspicuous trees next to me are plum trees. And we were at Lowe's. Derek needed to pick up some plumbing supplies, and I said, oh, Well, I'll go with you if we park by the garden center and stroll through there first. And they just happen to have a giant clearance section, and these trees were 50% off. So they were like less than $20 a piece. And we had just been talking about wanting gold plums. And I looked online for gold plums the other day, and they were like really expensive. It's pouring the rain now. And they had one gold plum left. And I was like, again, another sign. We were supposed to have these trees. So we had our van and all of our kids, and we crammed these 2 trees in the back of the van with kids. But yeah, so we're going to up pot these into protein tubs. I got to find, I'm going to put these in tubs, and they're looking really good. Another thing I want to show you guys is right here in these 3 trees right here. Those are cherry trees. We have a couple of huge cherry trees on the property that have little cherries, but they're very, very good. And these were seedlings that had dropped out of, well, they're not really seedlings, they're a little older than that, but they had dropped out of the tree and were growing below it. So we pulled them or dug them and potted them up. It's kind of an experiment. If they grow and do great, then they're free trees. And if they don't, well, it was worth a try. It didn't cost us anything. We had the pots, we had the compost, and the trees were already there. So definitely worth trying and seeing. That bigger tree came from Derek's uncle. We dug it a couple of years ago, and it's doing great. It hasn't produced for us yet, but I mean, it's a black heart cherry. It looks really good, so we'll see what it does. And we have various flowers and herbs. I think we dug, this is a woody rose. It's a wild little short rose that grows, and we found it in the back of the property, and the boys went and dug one for me and potted it up. And then also we had some bee balm, that was wild bee balm that was growing, that's native, that we went ahead and dug up and potted some for me. This is a fig tree, and it looks amazing. It was just barely little bitty sticks, basically, and we paid $5 for this. Derek met some people that I think the woman had worked at Virginia Tech in the horticulture, and she propagates them. And so she was like, well, I'll sell you one for $5. So he bought one and brought it home. It's been, I think this is the 2nd year we've had it, or is this the 3rd year we've had it? 3rd year we've had it. And this is the 1st year it's really looking vigorous and really good. So I don't know what it'll do, but here it is, and it looks good. And then over here I have various herbs. I have mint. We have some flowers that the girls bought at a greenhouse. Over here we have some peach trees. I think we have 5 of them that our neighbor dug from underneath their peach tree. Their peach tree is very productive and is really good peaches, so hopefully they do well. We've had them a couple of years and they look great so far. This is another cherry tree. I think it's another black heart. It came from Derek's uncle as well. It's like the big one we have over there. So it's doing great. We have my comfrey, and it looks good except for this middle one. It needs to be repotted. Comfrey is one of those things that once you put it somewhere, it's not going to go away. It's established. Its roots can go 10 to 15 feet deep, and it will just keep coming back even if you cut it off. So I don't really want to plant this until I know where I want it, and also I want to talk to Amy and see where she would want comfrey long-term on the farm, rather than just put it somewhere and then it be there forever without talking to her first. So I need to, this one is, I keep watering it and it looks fine, then it droops and it's really, it needs more soil. We're going to pull it out and put more compost and repot it. I think I'm going to use the same pot, just add more compost to it. But I want to show you guys my strawberries. So strawberries and watermelon are my 2 favorite fruits. I'm not sure which is my more favorite. I love watermelon a lot, but I also love strawberries a lot. And they taste different, so it's like one of those, how do you pick one over the other? So we dug a bunch of strawberries out of the other garden. This is the bed we put them in. There are a ton of weeds in here, and I need to go through and weed this. I'm thinking that the weed seeds had to have been in the soil that was around the roots of the strawberries. Down here, we did a better job of shaking the roots off. And up here, we didn't do, and this is a thinner. We were planting a lot thicker because we had a lot more. We thought we had a lot more than we did. So down here, we've planted them pretty thickly, and then they kind of are spread out back here. So I really need to come through and weed this, but they've done really well. I haven't seen any that have fully died. Some of the leaves died back, but then it's got new growth. So I think this is going to be successful. It has runners on a lot of them. So we're going to put the runners in and let them just kind of root and take off. And then back here, these look amazing. These are the ones I got from Stark Brother. They were bare root. You know, if you ever got bare root strawberries, they just look like basically dead nothing. And we put them in the ground last week, and they have done so well. We have 2 types of June bearing, and then I have everbearing back here. The everbearing actually is blooming. The June bearing, obviously, we won't get anything off of this year because it's already June and they need time to establish and grow. The everbearing already has a bloom. Probably should actually pull the blooms off, but I can never bring myself to do that. with plants, I always like to get a little bit of fruit. I know you're supposed to pull it off so that it gets a more vigorous plant, and the next year you get a bigger crop, but I really just want a strawberry this year. So I have these, and then back here, there's nothing yet because I bought seeds for a variety called Buried Treasure. They're from Proven Winners, and they have a pink flower, and that's really the sole reason I got them. I saw them on Roots and Refuge channel. Jess had them, and they were so pretty. And I went on the website, and the plants, single plants, were pretty expensive unless you're buying a like mass of them. But I didn't want to buy a mass, 10 of them. It would have still been pretty expensive. So I just bought the seeds. I've never propagated strawberry seeds. Watched a lot of videos. It looks fairly simple. So I'm going to do that. I have the seeds do need to go through cold stratification. So they're in the freezer for a few weeks, and then I'm going to start those. Should have a decently vigorous plant before fall. I can transplant them out in the bed, let them get established, and then they'll overwinter. And then next year they should produce. That's my goal. We'll see how it works out. But on to my other favorite, watermelon. I have my watermelon are going here. They're starting to vine. I'm trying to direct the vines out towards the grass. Those up there are the sugar baby bush. They still vine, but they don't get as long. These are my strawberry watermelons, and they will vine pretty long. So I'm trying to direct them this way towards the strawberry beds because they get less traffic over here than I'll be coming through here. I don't want to be walking on vines through here. And I have my, these are a cantaloupe, muskmelon, and down here are 4 watermelons that our neighbor gave us. She got these out of a catalog, so I'm not really sure what variety they are. Oh, my bed. There was an incident with my bed and the corner fell off, but it'll get fixed. Anyway, this variety is looking really good. It was a little more mature than the other ones when it went in, so it's a little bit bigger, which is great because these should all flower at separate times. And I don't want them to cross-pollinate, so if they already flower and they're done pollinating before each variety, the next variety, then the seeds won't cross-pollinate, and next year I'll have true to whatever. Of course, this might be a hybrid, so it might not be true, but we'll find out. But I really want to save seeds for my other melons. That's my goal here. But I'm not going to give you a full garden tour right now. We'll probably do one next week. But if you watched the last garden tour, you can see that this has just gone completely crazy since then. These squash are getting huge. My okra is growing great. My onions, I think they're close to being ready to harvest. I have a couple in here that are huge. Well, huge for me. I've never been able to successfully grow big onions. And they're not the biggest onions in the world, but for me, they're pretty big. And they were kind of an experiment. So I've just learned, and next year, my goal would be to have even better onions. Tomatoes and peppers are getting huge. I want to show you a few little tools I've got for the garden. I have one coming that's not here. It's actually coming today. And it's a tape machine for trellising tomatoes and other plants. And it's really cool. I saw it on Sage and Stone Homestead, and I was like, that's amazing. I have to get one of those. So went on Amazon and ordered it, and it will be here because I always use zip ties, which is okay. But you know, it's kind of one of those things. You have to go buy a bunch of them, and they're kind of a pain. The tape gun comes with like 20 rolls, so it should last a really long time. So I'm gonna show you how that works when it comes in. And my sweet potatoes, they weren't here yet, but let me show you my sweet potatoes. We put our sweet potatoes in part of this bed, and then this full bed aside from the one row of pole beans, which my pole beans are looking really good. I can't wait to see them up over the trellis. But all of these sweet potato slips are looking really good. Some of them are more vigorous than others. This one has started getting, healthy looking leaves. When sweet potato slips come in, they just look like a stem. They don't look like much, but they are all, I think all of them are going to survive, and they look really good. So I'm really excited about these and trying them in raised beds. I've never grown them in raised beds. I watched More Than Farmers, and they had grown theirs in raised beds, and so they would do it again. And when they harvested, like, sweet potatoes get massive, like bushy. They came in and cut all the greens off first and then harvested. And I was like, well, that's genius. So I'm really looking forward to growing these and then harvesting them and seeing how they do. And then I want to show you my green beans. They've really taken off. These green beans have filled out. The last 2 days, they have probably tripled in size. They're huge. They're going to be budding at any point, and we're going to be having a lot of green beans. But the other day I came through and weeded this bed. The beds aren't too weedy, but there's some, little patches of weeds throughout. And I sat down to relax after I weeded it, and my whole arm had a rash because I only weeded with my right arm. I was holding the baby on my left hip. So I went on and ordered these little handy dandy gardening sleeves. I found them on Amazon again. A 4-pack for like $17, I think. And I was looking for them, and they were like $20 a pair, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend that. And then I was like, wait a minute, that one says 4 pairs. So Emma and Kylie and Lydia and I all have our own set, so we can come out here. And I know that okra bothers my arms. I think okra bothers most people's arms, and the green beans apparently bother my arms. So now we have sleeves, so we can come through and just mess with our plants to our little heart's content and not have to worry about getting our arms all rashy. Oh, it's gonna rain again. A couple more things I want to show you real quick before the rain completely lets loose, even though it is going to completely let loose while I'm talking, is this little nifty cart we found. It's rolling, it has a seat on it. I can sit on it and prune my tomatoes and roll right up the little aisle, and it opens and closes. So I just put my little gardening sleeves in here, and I can put my pruning shears in here. So I'll have everything I need right here. My little seat, I can conveniently roll around the garden and do what I need to do. And over here, I want to show you this cart. I've been wanting a really heavy duty garden cart for years, but they are very, very expensive. And a friend of ours gave us this cart. It just needed new wheels. Like, I think like the whole wheel assembly was messed up. And so we went to Harbor Freight, and Harbor Freight is one of those stores that's hit or miss. Sometimes you buy things that's great and last years, and sometimes they break in a week. But anyway, we were able to get wheels for this cart. And now I have a really nice heavy duty garden cart that should last me for years and years and years. And one more thing I'm going to show you in the deluge that's coming is my garden hose that I'm currently not going to need because I'm not going to actually have to water my garden today. Anyways, that water hose is one of those flexible hoses. So when the water is off, it lays flat and it doesn't kink. It's really easy to maneuver. And I said, it's not a drag to drag around. So that's been a really cool thing to have this year. Really like that. But I guess this is where we're going to end the video because it is absolutely pouring the rain right now. And yeah, I'm not going back out there. I'm already wet. You got a little wet. She scratched her face. She's learning. She's crawling and pulling up on stuff, so she keeps kind of falling over and gonking her noggin. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're getting too big. She's 7 months now. And she is suddenly the star of the video because she is. And she has her brother's little car she wants to play with. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today in my garden and in the downpour of rain. I hope you guys are doing well. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a video. Give us a thumbs up so YouTube will know that you're enjoying this. Please comment below. Let me know how your garden season is going, what you think of my garden, and if you have any great tools that you like that I need to know about. And also if you have a problem like me with buying plants. I'll catch you guys in the next time.